Hi and welcome to the Cult TV Sofa. This is a reaction and discussion video for the 20th episode of Season 2 of Stargate SG1 called Show and Tell. Don't forget that you can see the full version of this reaction on my Patreon channel. Check out the link in the description below. Last time we saw the team send an aerial drone through the gate to study a planet, but it crashed into a native plant. We then see the drone taken by one of the population of the planet. Going through the gate to retrieve the drone, the team bump into the native and go to his village to meet the people. The people can't talk, but they seem to communicate with harmonious singing. Things escalated when the natives started to collapse. They discovered that the plants were actually one organism and they had a symbiotic relationship with the native population, producing a sound that, now missing due to the drone, caused the people to fall ill. The team set up some audio devices that reproduced the sound that the plant made and the people got better. So let's see what happens in this episode. I'm going to put any relevant trivia that I find over here, and at the end of the reaction I'll be discussing what happened and my thoughts about it. And I'm going to start it in 3, 2, 1.
Unauthorized incoming travelers.
Unauthorized. God, they move pretty quick.
I did not give the order to open the iron.
Oh.
Did not open it, sir.
Oh.
The computer keeps overriding it.
There's somebody at the door. Is it a Knox? Ooh. He looks familiar. I don't mean the character, the actor. I can't think who I recognise him from. Why didn't someone say stop?
Search him.
Allowing Carter to do it, she can detect other stuff.
Ah, the Tok'ra that was in her is what she can detect?
What's your name?
Is that what he meant? Because we've seen other Gould and Tok'ra pick up that she had one inside her. I don't recall her picking up one inside someone else before. I'm assuming that's what he meant, unless he meant he might have some sort of scientific devices or equipment on him that she would pick up. Not completely sure.
I have to check you for things you probably know nothing about.
Ah, bombs, explosives, things like that. That's what he meant. And marks that a Gould's got inside. He was checking the mouth, the back of the neck for incisions and entrances.
He's not Goa'uld or Jaffa.
But she did.
Any Naquita.
Right. I don't think she's done that before.
I'm here to warn you.
Of what? Okay. That was vague. Considering they had all those armed guards there, they let... I know he's a kid, but they let him walk right up to them. No one shouted, stop, stand still, don't move. Which you would have thought they would have. So it looks like I was right about Sam on all cases. Yes, she was checking for equipment, and she was checking to see if he was a Goa'uld, but she also checked, like I say, back of the neck, in his mouth for signs that a Goa'uld had entered him. So I really don't recall her doing that before. Other people have done it to her, but not her doing it to other people.
As far as I can tell, he's human. He's no threat to us as far as I'm able to tell.
Yeah, but that Cassandra, you couldn't tell was a problem with her at first.
Your name is Colonel O'Neill.
How'd you know that?
Yeah.
My mother told me.
Mother.
Your mother?
Ghost.
Mother says to speak only to you.
Why me?
Because Mother
Yeah.
has observed you and determined she likes you. You are one who can be trusted.
Well, if she's observed him, she'd have observed Sam and the others as well. They can be trusted.
She observed you all until your team returned with the one called Tonane. Mother believes you are the only honorable leader among your people.
Tonane, is that the spirits episode? With those aliens who disguise themselves as the spirit animals of those people. I think that was them.
It was
Him.
only your team who did not want to steal Tonane's mineral.
Yes, it
Then why
was.
not trust the rest of my team?
Well informed.
Because you were the leader.
Okay, so is there really some invisible mother who they can't hear either? Which, to be fair, is possible in this show. And I'm kind of going that way because it's so ridiculous and we think he must be a bit crazy or something that it probably is going to be true. Or is it him? Does he know all of this for some reason and he's just using the invisible mother as a way to communicate and to have this discussion? Leading towards the invisible mother, because certainly knows a lot of information that would be hard to know otherwise unless they were there watching. That's a huge risk, though, if there are either invisible people or him knowing all this information. How do they know?
So what do I call you?
I do not have a name.
What's your mom call you?
Son. Mother says you too have a son.
Oh.
He's gone now.
What was his name?
Can he turn invisible?
Charlie. I like Charlie.
Oh,
Can I be called Charlie?
no.
Yeah. Sure.
Oh, that seems like psychological. That seems like he's toying with him. Well, no, not toying, but he's done that to get on Jack's good side. He's created a bond between them very quickly by doing that. Don't like that. Maybe he's not a child. He just looks like a child. Shapeshifter?
A planet called Retalia. Until most of the Ritu were destroyed by mean creatures with glowing eyes.
Gold.
It's the Ritu rebels who intend to eliminate you.
Eliminate you.
We did a level 1 analysis on the iris mechanism, like it was being controlled from another keyboard somewhere.
I'd forgotten about him about the gate being overridden. So they said the computer was overriding it. So was that adding more credence to an invisible person? Actually, they'd been watching them, might have observed the codes to override the shield, and they were typing it in. Dangerous, though. What if he'd stepped through at the wrong time when the shield was opening and closing?
The kid survived a Gould massacre.
Well, that would explain Mom. See, it would be a natural psychological defense mechanism.
Yeah.
Well, how did he know about the Salish?
Yeah.
Is it possible that he's some sort of psychic?
That's a good point.
Listen to his description of the attack on the Ritu and let me know if it appears to follow normal Gould tactics.
That's a good idea. That's certainly one box ticked. One part of the story clarified.
Jumper!
Ooh. Okay, well that was quick and decisive.
He's a good Jaffa. In fact, he saved my life one time.
More than one time.
Look, Mom.
Hmm.
Well, I'm telling you, Teal'c is okay. In fact, all my friends here at the base are okay.
But yeah, but if she's...
She's over there.
Well, that was an obvious joke to make, but it was quite funny. If she has been there watching Jack, they all spend a lot of time together. She would have been watching Teal'c, Sam, and Daniel as well. So she'd know what they're all like, not just Jack. She'd know that Teal'c was okay. Especially if their planet has been attacked. She'd have watched him specifically, I should think, to see what he was up to.
Mother says to trust only you and the other members of your team.
So now I'm heading the other way. I don't think there is someone there.
I am pleased to meet you.
Listen, Charlie.
Ooh. What was that look for?
Can you talk about that?
Ooh, what's going on?
I must leave this room.
Why? He had quite the reaction.
My symbiote became agitated when I entered the room. There is something unusual about this child, O'Neill.
Or in the room.
But he's in worse shape than I thought, the poor kid. It's like Mother Nature put him together in a hurry and got everything just a little wrong.
Oh, well, that sounds dodgy. What's happened?
So what, he's got ESP? Some telekinetic thing going on?
I'm a skeptic on such things, but...
How can you be when you've seen so much? I don't understand how they can be so, Jack especially, so skeptical, and the Doctor saying that about, about things like ESP, all the stuff they've seen, and all the things they now must know are possible on other planets and other races. It's crazy to be skeptical now about things. Anything is possible, and they've seen that that's the case. That's I find frustrating still. If that kid is psychic, he's dangerous to have around there. He knows about Jackson, knows about Tenani and things that have happened there. So does he know about access codes, security, all sorts? That's risky. I know he's a kid, but they're giving him a lot of latitude.
All right, why do the rebels want to attack us?
Because the glowing-eyed people attacked the Ritu.
The Gould.
Was it the gold? We're assuming the gold.
They believe they can only be destroyed by attrition.
What does that mean?
Wear them
is the
down.
gradual diminution of strength or number by
I know what the
I was going to say he'd know.
meant in context.
Huh.
They must think that if the Goa'uld have no new hosts to infest, that they'll eventually die out.
Ooh, long term.
There are billions of
Yeah.
possible Goa'uld hosts.
That's a long attrition.
I am of your species.
Is your mother a Ritu?
Yeah.
Well, if you're one of us, why can you see her?
Because I'm special.
Yes.
Mother created me to serve as an intermediary.
Created. Yeah.
Is it possible there's a creature standing here that we can't perceive?
Theoretically.
Yes. But I'm assuming, as he said, perceive. So not just invisible, because they could easily just lift something up and prove that they're there. So out of phase, then they could pass through walls, walk through anything. There's no way of literally proving they're there, unless they can scan the area or something. Now they think that they're there. I'm not sure.
Ritu waves are exactly 180 degrees out of phase with ours, right down to the subatomic level. Then their light and sound waves would be undetectable by us.
That sounded a bit mumbo jumbo.
It came through the Stargate, and it is capable of controlling the iris.
Yeah, so it can do things. It has contact.
Call me Charlie.
Charlie?
That's not good. For Jack.
Mother came ahead of me weeks ago. She observed you and how you operate the iris.
Yeah, okay.
She opened it for me.
How?
She just typed it into the computer.
That is how the computer behaved, sir.
Okay. So that means she has physical contact with things. She can touch things. So she can move something. She can move the keys on the keyboard. So easily prove it. Here you go. Lifted something up in the air. I'm invisible. Floating around. Job done.
Ritu can operate things in our phase.
Phase. Lift something up.
Mother is growing impatient with your narrow-mindedness.
Okay. That was extreme.
I assume that came from...
Mother.
Surely the simpler thing would have been just move something, then fire in an energy blast.
How do we deal with an invisible threat?
We need a way
Yeah.
to protect them.
Yes.
It seems my symbiote can sense this creature.
What's the range?
Can it tell us where exactly in a room a Ritu is?
Yeah.
It only detected a presence.
So?
Useful, but limited.
Perhaps the Tok'ra can be of assistance.
It could be our best hope.
So would a bullet kill one, or would it pass through it? Oh, that's the communication device that they were given by the Tok'ra, which is the same communication device that the other race, those well, they thought they were more advanced, but they were a bit up themselves as well. They thought that Earth was very primitive. They had the same communication device. Doesn't seem it seems a bit primitive communication device to me, though, that one. Oh, is it a dad? Ah.
It is an honor to once again return to your planet, Jen. What can we do for you?
That must be unnerving for her.
Heard of something called a Ritu.
Toka Kree, Taklan, and Obi-Lan.
That's... Oh, wow, they do trust them.
Send him back to where we came from.
Why are they sending him back? Okay, so the kid said that his mother made him to be a go-between, which implies that they cannot, the invisible people, or out of phase, whatever they are, cannot physically reappear. They're stuck permanently in that's their way of life. I can't see how they could make a kid. I suppose they put some technology. Oh, this is. I'm liking the idea, but I'm confused about a lot of this one.
Ooh. Charlie, it's okay.
Recognizes him as having a. Ooh. Ooh. Was that the kid or the mother?
This will illuminate the retail if it is there.
Illuminate or eliminate?
Please don't hurt her.
Oh.
You and your mom stay in this room until I get back. Nobody's gonna hurt you.
Why did she have to go to all this effort? Why didn't she just type on the computer, "Hello, I'm an alien, invisible alien. You're in danger." Well, done something. Seems a lot of effort to go to.
Will somebody please explain to me how that thing could be the kid's mother?
Adopted?
Could have been genetically engineered to allow him to perceive this Ritu mother.
Advanced tech.
Even though we can't see them, these Ritu can definitely see us.
True.
I understand why the goal would want to eliminate them.
Yeah, spies, assassins.
They were able to isolate the emissions that we are sensitive to and develop a device that would expose the creatures.
That device.
It's also capable of terminating a Ritu.
It looks like a gun.
The Ritu rebels are kind of like terrorists are here on Earth. They work in small groups of 5 suicide infiltrators.
Sure.
And try to maximize the damage before they've even been detected. Any idea why they want to attack here on Earth?
Wipe out the hosts. I mean, that would be a never-ending job. There's humans everywhere on different planets. I mean, they'd never be able to finish that task. I mean, it looks like going forward, they're going to need one of those or take one of those devices apart that detected that alien, and create their own version and fix it permanently, so it's shining on the Stargate, so that whenever anyone comes through, they're always checking to see if one of these things is there, because it could happen in the future.
Earth weapons will not be as effective as a TER.
Not as effective.
Your weapons might at least slow them. Pretty tough to shoot at a moving target that you can't see.
Or hurt.
Say she does give us the address where they're coming from. Isn't it kind of risky to go looking for them?
We need some intelligence, Dr. Jackson.
Yeah.
She's leaving as soon as she has told you everything that can help.
Where's she going?
She's not taking you with her?
I think I belong with you, Jack.
I don't like the way they're playing with emotions on this one. About his son.
You think she could tell us where we could find these rebel Ritus?
She says she'll show me the address.
She can type the address. That's a good idea. So they're sending through the MALP, but with one of those devices attached, I assume, turned on, so the camera should pick up anything in the vicinity.
I told you, these rebels work in 5-man squads. There'll only be 5, maybe 10 of them there.
Yeah, 5 or 10 invisible creatures that your guns don't hurt.
Not engage the enemy unless you have no choice.
Can't engage what you can't see.
Yeah. It's hard to hide from something that you can't see.
Let's go do some snooping around. What do you say? You stay with SG-12. Watch our 6. Backside.
Yeah. Clarify to him, because he doesn't say know what that means. I mean, you need one person with that device just constantly spinning 360 to make sure you're not missing one. He's picking up. Yeah, it's affecting him.
Two are present in that direction.
Oh, he knows.
I don't know.
Well, they're outside. It's affecting him quite considerably, so probably a few of them.
Whoa.
Okay, that's more than 5 or 10.
5 or 10.
Yeah. Whoa, that's an army.
So you would say threat assessment is high?
Yeah.
You sure none of them came through with you?
Can't be sure, but I don't think so.
Of course, it would only take one to open the iris.
Well, we could put palm scanners into the iris control system.
Good idea. Good security measure for going forward. Although they've still been taken over, their bodies have been taken over in the past, so it's still not definitive. But certainly, oh, one's there. Is it the mother?
And Mom's there?
Oh.
I think we may have a stowaway of Ritu who came back with us.
Well, they were on heightened check-in as well, looking to see, make sure one didn't come back to the gate, and one still came back to the gate. How can they protect themselves against them? Why are you walking? Just spin quickly. Oh. That glass is bulletproof as well, so... Whoa. That's an effective weapon. Is Tilk still affected? Or is he better? In which case there isn't another one. There's another one. What? How on earth did lots of them come back?
Anyone get a count? We had 4 here.
Plus the 1. 5.
They're terrorist teams.
Suicide teams.
Some of them will try to get out of the base and start making a mess of things.
Yeah, once they leave the base, they got no chance of stopping them or finding them. Or finding them and stopping them.
Sealed blast door C3 East.
Okay, so check a section, seal it off. Yeah, you know, he came close to getting the hits then.
What happens if they come to the door behind us?
Don't do that.
What if whoa! But yeah, if they're checking each section as they go, they should always be in front of them in theory. Ooh.
Dad?
So what's that, 3 left?
Selma can take care of me.
Yeah. Oh. I didn't see it. Can that hurt them? That can. I've lost track. I can't remember if there's 1 or 2 left. Not including Mother. Oh, slow-mo.
Mother!
Oh! So there's the other ones there as well. That's all of them. I assumed they'd be able to see each other, but that kind of implies they couldn't. Else the mother would have known that the other ones were in there, in the room.
So that should be all of them, right?
Should be.
I'm sorry.
God, he's looking more and more ill. Oh, unconscious or dead?
Let us take him. He will be in good hands.
Do what?
Isn't he a little young to be a host?
But the Tok'ra symbiote that we introduced to his mind can teach him.
Not sure how I feel about that. He is a kid. I know he's going to die, but... I mean, he won't grow up
Get you more as soon as they become available.
as such. I mean, have they asked him? Now he's conscious. Have they asked him whether he wants to do this? I mean, he will age, but slowly.
I want to stay with you, Jack.
You won't live if you do.
Jacob's gonna take you to a place where you can get well.
He's got a lot of damage, though. Can the symbiote heal him?
I'll come visit. You'll come visit.
This is a rhetorical question. I don't want to know the answer, but I am wondering whether we do see him in the future. It would be interesting to see him come back, or we see him in some way with the Tok'ra inside him. Well, the symbiote inside him. Sorry, it's Tok'ra, the whole. But I don't know the answer, but I'd be interested in seeing that.
I warn you. The Ritu are guileful creatures.
Yeah.
You are only one, Tilk. Please, be diligent.
Thinking he's in a wheelchair, not walking. Okay. It feels like this had a lot of potential, this episode. It's got messy. I don't know. I like the idea of the invisible creatures. And are they there? Aren't they there? My gut feeling was right. They were there. Just from the way the story was going, it just felt like they were there. But a lot of the explanations don't quite make sense. I mean, these are almost an invincible army. 5 of them came through when they were specifically looking for them. If they ever attack in the future, they've got no chance. And they need to do what I said originally. They look at those devices, those scanners, take one of them apart, and create a bigger version of it, and fix it permanently around the gate room. A couple of them probably constantly pointed at the Stargate and in front of it in the surrounding area. So if ever anything comes through the gate with anyone else, they'd see it. They have to do that. It's the only way they could. Well, but then how can they stop them? Oh, okay. Well, they need more of those weapons to then stop them. Yeah, I don't know how they can stop those in the future. It sounded like the kid was on the verge of death from multiple organs failing, major organs, 2 of them at least. I know that the symbiote can cure a lot, but I know they've also said there's some things, there's a limit to what they can do. I'd have thought that kid's past the limit of what they can do. It seems to me it's too much wrong with him to be able to cure him. I mean, at a genetic level, he was never quite right. And I say they made the decision for him that they were going to turn him into a Tok'ra, basically. Did they actually ask whether he wants to do that? From the way that they were speaking, it sounds like they didn't. And especially he's got such a reaction to the Goa'uld about what he's done to his people, basically. That's going to be hard for him to deal with. I didn't like him going with calling himself Charlie. That could really mess up Jack. Wasn't a fan of that bit of the story. Don't know. I really liked the idea of it, and there were certain bits I really enjoyed about it. It just, I don't know. I stick to what I said. It felt messy. I don't know. There's too many threads. It just doesn't quite sit with me, the story. Yeah, let me know what you thought about it in the comments below. It'd be interesting to see what other people thought about this one. The things I've said and your points about the aliens as well. Again, remember, please keep your comments to this story in the past. I don't want to know what's going to happen in the future with this. But yeah, interested to know what people think about it. Right, I shall see you for the next one. Be seeing you.